Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Robinson again, and today we're going to continue our studies. We are talking about slopes, so let's get into it. In linear equations, the graph of a linear equation is a straight line. The solution set is any ordered pair called x and y that makes the equation true. For example, x plus y equals 12. That would be a linear equation, where a value of x would be 9, 3 would be y, and that is the solution because 9 plus 3 is 12. So our coordinate xy, 9 and 3, would be 9 plus 3 gives us 12, which would be the solution to this equation. Slope-intercept form is when an equation is written in the form of y equals to mx plus or minus b. And sometimes the slope is also negative, so it should be negative x, negative or positive m. So keep that in mind. But the y-intercept is also positive and negative as well. So the letter m stands for slope, plus or minus b, and the b stands for the y-intercept. X and y are the solution set, as we just mentioned a minute ago. That is the coordinate, the point. So we want to identify the slope in the equation y equal 2/3 x plus 1. Now remember, in the formula, the point slope of the slope formula, y equals mx plus or minus b, the slope form equation there, where we have slope is the coefficient, which is the number next to the letter x. So the number would be 2/3. It's a fraction, and that would be the slope. X is a coordinate. It goes with the y, so that's a coordinate. B is the y-intercept. So if you said letter A, you're wrong. 2/3 is right, but we don't include the x. So be careful with that. We just need the 2/3 to be the slope. So remember, the slope is just the coefficient of the value of x. Here's another one. Identify the y-intercept. Well, if you remember the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Let's match it up. So we have our y equal to, 2 would be the slope, and plus, now they don't have plus here, they have a minus. So our b would equal to 5, and that would be minus 5. So it'd be plus minus 5 or just negative 5. Now notice our choices would be plus or minus 5, but remember this is plus minus 5, which is really negative 5. So we only can have one sign. We don't need both signs. So it's a negative number. So if you said C, negative 5, you are correct. So check your understanding. See if you understand it so far. If you don't, write down your questions. Bring them in tomorrow. I'll be glad to answer them. A linear equation in the form of y equal mx has b equal to 0. This means your y-intercept starts at the origin, 0, 0. And the effect the y-intercept has, if b is greater than 0, the graph of the line shifts upwards. If b is less than 0, the graph of the y-intercept shifts downwards because negatives go down and positives go up on the y line, because if you remember, the y-intercept intersects the y-axis. So here we have a demonstration. So let's get this demonstration going, where it's going to graph all of these points. So first we notice we graph at the origin, then we go one box down, 2 boxes over, because that's our slope. Slope indicates that we go down 1 box and over 2 more. We then go from our next point to repeat the pattern. So we constantly repeat that pattern, go 1 down and 2 over. Notice how the dots are lining up for this equation. Now we can do the opposite, go 1 box up and 2 boxes over in the opposite direction. So again, 1 box up, 2 boxes over in the opposite direction. So notice how all the points are nice and neatly lined up. So all we need to do is get our line tool and draw a straight line connecting all of our dots. So this graph is the equation y equals negative 1/2 x. So now let's graph the next one. Y-intercept is -3, so that means it intersects the line at -3. So we put a dot right there. Let's grab another point. The slope is the same, I notice. Go down 1 box and 2 boxes over to the right and draw our second dot. Let's go from there, get another one, go down 1, over 2 to the right, and draw a dot. Let's get another one, go down and 2 over. And notice how all the points line up. We can do the opposite, go up 1 and over 2 to the other direction. Go from that point, go up 1 and 2 over to the other direction. And one more time, let's go up 1 and 2 to the other direction. That one I noticed landed right on the x-axis. So let's get our graphing line tool and draw a line. And there is the graph of y equal negative 1/2 x minus 3. Notice that the difference between the first coordinate, the origin, and this is 3 boxes. So if you count it, 1, 2, 3, 3 boxes difference. And also every other point has 1, 2, 3. So there's a difference of 3 boxes lower than the other ones above it. And that's why the reason why the y-intercept is -3, because it's lower 3 by 3 boxes. So the y-intercept makes a great deal of difference on how your line is formed. So remember, your plus b or minus b indicates the y-intercept, where the y value will start. So I want you to notice one more thing. The slopes were identical, -1/2, -1/2 on both. The only difference was the y-intercept was 0 for the first equation, -3 for the second equation. And notice the drawing. You have 2 lines that are parallel. So that's something you're going to come to when you have slopes that are the same. You end up with a graph of parallel lines. The point-slope formula form for an equation, when you know a point, x1, y1, on a line, and if you know its slope, you can use the equation y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I have a little video that I could share with you, but let's just go through it. So here we have a line of an equation that has a slope-intercept form, that we have a 0.35 and we want to have a slope of 4/3. So we want to write the equation. So let's see what we do. First thing we do is we get our point slope formula, and y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. We're going to replace the values. Here's our x1. Let's get a pen. Here's our x1, and here is our y1. So we're going to replace in each spot the y1, and we replace that with 5, and we're going to replace the x1. Let's see if we can get a different color. The x1 with 3. And all we're doing is substituting in our formula. So if we continue to substitute, we have y minus 5. And remember, where did the 5 come from? the y1 was 5. And we substituted our slope, and if you recall, the slope was 4/3. That is way over there. And we substituted the slope 4/3, and the x we substituted for 3. Keeping in mind there is a minus sign in between both y values and between both x values. So now it's just a matter of doing the distribution. So on the left side we have y minus 5, so I left that as y minus 5. On the right side I have 4/3 x. 4/3 times x. So if I multiply that, that gives me 4/3 x. Now I have 4/3 times negative 3. Well, when I multiply 4/3 times negative 3, the 3's cancel out, leaving me with 4 times a negative, which is a negative 4, or 4 times a negative 1, which is negative 4. So I have y minus 5 still on this side, and I have 4/3 x minus 4. Now I do a little transposing, add 5 to both sides, add 5 to both sides. My 5's are going to cancel out over here, and I have a negative 4 plus 5 gives me a plus 1. So I have on this side just the y, the 5's canceled out, bring down my equal sign, I have my slope, which is 4/3, and bring my x down. Negative 4 plus 1, negative 4 plus 5 is positive 1. So my answer is going to be 4/3 x plus 1. So y equals 4/3 x plus 1. So that was the point slope formula. So when you have a point and a slope, you can actually get the equation as well. So that's all you need, just one point. Sometimes they give you two. Here's a nice question you can try on your own. A line has a slope of negative 5 and passes through 1, negative 1. Which equation of the line, which is the equation of the line in point slope form? So see which one you think it is. I'll tell you tomorrow in class. Check for your understanding, see if you understand what we've done so far. You may have to review the tape, write down questions. I'll be glad to answer them tomorrow in class. Here's where we go next. Which point lies on the graph represented by the equation 3y plus 2x equals 8? Well, if you remember, we have a point, x and y. So I would start with substitution to see if I substituted each value in here to see which one would work out to be this answer of 8. That's a good way of doing it. So see if you can find out which one it is. Tell me tomorrow, because that's where we're going next. Here's another question on point slope. Which equation represents the line that passes through the point 2, 1 and has a slope of 3/4? So again, that's a good practice for you. We have some very nice things. You can substitute and figure it out. So take your time, be very careful. Well, I hope you enjoyed the lesson, found it easy. Let me know. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. I hope you got something out of it. And if you have questions, write them down, bring them in tomorrow, and we'll be glad to go over it. This is Dr. Robinson. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.